Hello everybody, today we're doing a video for GTA Car Kits in a 2015 Lexus RC, and today we're going to show you how to install our Apple Carplay and Android Auto kit. As you can see, it's already installed into this car, and you can see Carplay on your original screen. It's been paired to iPhone wirelessly. You can also pair it to your Android phone wirelessly. You're going to control the entire system with the original touchpad, so it feels almost like you're controlling your laptop, so it's way more smooth than the original Lexus system. The music and phone calls will go through the original Bluetooth, so nothing gets disabled. The sound quality is still great, just like original. And if you want to switch back to the original system, you just press and hold the menu button, and you're going to view your original Lexus system. The original view camera will still work the same way. You're going to be able to do next track, audio, and so on from the steering wheel controls. And now we're going to show you how to install it into this particular car. So the tools you're going to need is a panel removal tool, Phillips screwdriver, and this is a 10mm socket with an extension, and of course you're going to need our product. We're going to start on the driver's side. We're first going to remove this trim piece here. We're going to use our panel removal tool. We're going to get underneath and we will unclip it. Once it's unclipped, then you can remove it from the hooks. As you can see, there's a hook here and there's a guide pin here. We're going to do the same on the passenger side. Back on the driver's side, there's two Phillips screws that you need to remove. There's one right here and one deep in the hole there. So we're going to use our Phillips screwdriver and remove both of them. So it's the same thing on the passenger side. Now we can remove this big trim piece. So we're going to use our panel removal tool here and unclip it, and then it will slide down. Again, there's this guide plastic piece here on top. Same thing on the passenger side. So we need to remove this center console, and there's one more screw that holds it in place, and it's right here. It's also a Phillips. With the armrest open, now we can start removing the entire center console. So we're going to use our panel removal tool. We're going to start from here and work our way towards the front of the car. So I'm just going to get my tool underneath here and start unclipping center console. Once you have it unclipped, as you can see, it's now loose, but the shift knob is in the way. So we're going to remove the shift knob. We're going to pull the leather down and unscrew the shift knob counterclockwise. Once we remove it, you're going to lift the panel more, and underneath here there's this release for the shifters. That way we can remove the center console. And when you do this, make sure that the car's parking brake is on so it doesn't roll anywhere. So we released it, and now we can lift up the entire center console. So we're not going to be disconnecting it. This wire has plenty of slack, so you can just put the center console to the side. But over here, right below the touchpad, we're going to be connecting here. This is where part of our wiring for the kit will go, so just keep that in mind. We're now ready to remove the stereo, and in order to do that, we need to remove 4 bolts that hold it in place. So there's one right here, one right here in the bottom. So make sure that you only unscrew this one, as you don't need to unscrew the outer bolt. One more here, this one you skip, and there's one more down there. So you only need to remove 4, not the 6 that you see in front of you. We're also going to be removing the screen, just dropping it down. In order to do that, we're going to use our panel removal tool again to get underneath here to remove this panel. And then once it's out, you're going to lift it up here because it gets held in with this edge closer to the driver. So just lift it up and it will come out. And here you're going to see 2 more 10mm bolts that we need to remove. With the bolts removed, you can just drop down the screen. So there's 4 clips that hold it in place. So we're going to just pull it towards the back of the car, and you'll be able to tilt it forward. As you can see, we're going to be connecting right here, and these are the 4 clips, 2 on each side, that hold it in place. So now we're going to show you our kit and what we're going to be installing in this car. So you have your video cables that gets plugged in at the back of the screen. This is our main module. This is our main harness. So 2 of the connections will be at the back of the head unit, and then this will go into our module. We have our wireless antenna. We also have this harness for the touch panel in the center console. And this is our USB cable, which is used for updates. We can take the radiator out because we removed the bolts, so we're just going to pull on it towards the back of the car. It will come out. It just gets held on clips. So here, when you're removing it, make sure you don't scratch the stereo on your gear selector. So at the back here, there are 2 connections that we're going to be connecting to. So there's one here for sound. We'll disconnect that. And then there's the main harness for the stereo. In order to remove it, there's a clip on the side here, which we're going to press with our panel removal tool and unclip it. Now we're going to take our main harness. So you're going to see that the connections look exactly the same like we just unplugged. So this one is for the sound. So we'll take the one that we unplugged from the stereo and plug it into the female harness of ours. And then our connection will go instead of the original one here. Same thing for this main harness. Make sure that it's unlocked when you're putting it in, and then you lock it in place. And then ours will go to the back of the head unit. Now we're going to do the video cables at the back of the screen. So these 2 ends, the blue and the burgundy, will go into our module. So we have to feed them behind the dashboard and behind the stereo, but these ones will be at the back of the screen. So we're going to unplug the original blue connection and plug it in to our female harness, and then our male harness will go instead of the original one. And then to feed these wires behind the screen and behind the dashboard, you're going to move the screen out of the way a little bit towards the back of the car. And as you can see, this black wire, you're going to follow the same direction towards the passenger side and use that corner to drop our cables down there, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get them through and behind the entire dashboard. So once I feed them down into that opening there in that corner, I'm going to use my hand. So as you can see, I'm carefully going to pull the wires through. Once I have enough length here, I'm going to focus now here on the screen. I make sure that the wires go back into that corner neatly and not in the way of anything. And at this point, you're going to grab the screen, you're going to tilt it and put it back in. And also, when you first clip it in, you're going to feel that the top clips clip in, but you also have to push the screen from the bottom. So the bottom clips in, and then the holes for the bolts will align. Now we're going to feed this USB cable and install it into the footwell compartment, and this end will go into our module. So we'll take this end, and over here you're going to see this small plastic cover, and it's just held on the clip. So you're going to unclip it, and this will give you space to feed the wire from behind the stereo and bring it out like that. And then you can reinstall this panel back. And as you can see, you just have this end that is not really visible. We're going to leave it like that. Next, we need to install this harness from our kit for this touch panel here. So we're going to unclip the original one and disconnect it and plug it in to the female of ours, and ours will go instead of the original one. And then on the other side, you have this wire, which we have to plug in into our harness. So we're going to feed it through here and underneath these plastic panels here. We're going to bring it up, and then this is our main harness at the back of the stereo. And here you're going to see this connection here, and you just plug it in here. And the last thing is our wireless antenna. So the antenna is going to live somewhere around here. So we're going to flip it around and run it underneath here. And for now, we'll just leave it here towards the side. And then this end will go into our module. So now at the back of the stereo, you should end up with these cables. So you have the main harness cable, USB, the 2 video cables, and the wireless antenna. So we're going to take our module and we're going to plug everything in. So we're going to start with the video cables. So just plug them in according to their color. Then we're going to do the wireless antenna. This is our USB, and this is our main harness. Once you do that, you also got to make sure for this Lexus RC that switch number 1 is on and the rest is off. And over here is a good spot to hide the module, right here underneath this piece of divider between underneath the stereo. So we're going to just take our module, carefully put it in, and we're going to slide it underneath. Make sure that there's no wires in the way, and it's going to rest like that. And now all of these extra wires, we have to neatly use our cable ties and tie them up neatly, and then we're going to put the stereo back. So now all the wires are neatly tucked behind, and we're going to put the stereo back. So we're going to line it up with the clips and clip it back in. As you can see, nothing is visible except for this little piece of our module, and then this extra wire that we connected to the touchpad, and this is our antenna. So we're just going to tuck it down a little bit further so it's not in the way of anything. And over here, it's not going to move around or make any noise. Now we're going to reinstall the 2 bolts underneath the stereo, and then put the center console back so we can test everything. Once we test everything, then we're going to put the rest of the bolts back in. So when putting the center console back, this wire from our kit, you can neatly tuck right here so it's not in the way. And then the front of this console goes in first. As you can see, it has these 3 guide clips. So we put the shifter in, and then put the center console towards the front of the car, and then you can clip it down. And we're also going to put the car back to park. So now we're going to test everything. We have our radio on. This is the original Lexus system. You're going to make sure that the Bluetooth is still paired to the phone that you're going to use with our kit. As you can see, it's set to Bluetooth sound source. And now if I press and hold the menu button right here, you're going to get an extra mode which you didn't have before. And now on our iPhone, we're going to go to our Bluetooth settings, and we're going to find this device car dash followed by a number. That's our kit. We're going to press on it, and you're going to agree to all the permissions. You're going to press pair, allow, and connect to CarPlay. As you can see, you have CarPlay appearing on your screen. So you're going to test the touchpad, make sure that you're able to control everything. You're going to test the sound. And then if you want to switch back to the original Lexus system, you again just press and hold the menu button here, and you're back to your Lexus system, so nothing gets disabled. Once we tested everything, and now we're ready to assemble the car back. Now we're going to reinstall the bolts that hold the screen in place. Next is the cover. So you first have to insert this edge. Once you insert it, you have to line up the clips. And once they're lined up, now you can press it down. Next are the 2 bolts on the side of the stereo, because we already did the 2 bolts at the bottom of the stereo. Now we need to make sure not to forget this screw underneath the center console. We can now reinstall these trim pieces on the side. So first you have to insert this end all the way up there, and then that will line everything up nicely. Same on the passenger side. And now we need to put the 2 bolts on each side. Now it's these trim pieces. So first you have to insert the hook and that alignment pin. So here you gotta use this angle. And once it's inserted, you just clip it. Same on the passenger side. And the last thing is our shift knob. Clip in the leather shift wood and put it back into park. So now everything has been assembled, and now you can enjoy Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in your Lexus RC. I hope you liked the video, and we'll see you next time.